mixing this off perfectly. So, are we live now? Can you see?
So, fully. I can see, I can hear.
I can see because it still for me shows like it's yeah, I can see number 1 now. So probably it's you checking, right? Can you put your headphones to check the sound? Can you hear me? Not. Can you hear me through the iPhone? So sound is good, right?
Seems to be good, yeah.
Okay. 21 minutes. We are late for 21 minutes. So waiting for people to come. I'm going to grab a few fabric while I'm waiting. Too toxic. Yeah, still no one. Oh, 3 people. Hi everyone. Can you make sure you can hear me? Let me know, please. Sound is okay? Picture? I mean, can you see me? Is someone typing?
No, not
No,
at the
no
moment.
messages. Just to make sure people can hear us, people can see us. Two people? Is it you disconnected?
No, no.
So, I think what? We're gonna start
Wait.
and people come along the way. This is my first live, a little bit stressful. Have a feelings like I'm about to go to the school exam, you know, when you're about to pass some test, and those kind of feelings. A little bit nervous in. We've been quite late for 23 minutes because we couldn't just start our YouTube live, and it was something ridiculous because you have a public option and you have an option to be private. So we were going live in time, even 5 minutes before. But because it was a private, no one could see us, and we were trying to figure it out. And finally, 20 minutes later, we are here. So 4 people online, I can see. Well, I think I'll introduce myself, and people who's late to the party can watch this live later, or maybe, you know, catch up with time. My name is Alena, and many of you guys call me Businka. Just want to give you small story about the name Businka Mania, which is my business name. Back in the days, I was making some jewelry with the beads, and I had a shop online to sell some supplies for people and create, so they can create jewelry, or they can come select what they want and I can create for them. Then we closed the shop, name still was there, and I decided to make some jewelry here in UK. And because of this we decided to keep the name because it was cool. Businka, it means beads in English language. So I started to create brooches and jewelry. Basically, I don't know, can you see, not see, things like that. And because of this, we still were keeping the name Businka Mania. Then I wanted to learn how to sew, just for myself, not to sell, not to make a business. And I was making some patterns, people liked them, were kind of asking, oh, can you make one for me? And then we stopped to make brooches, bracelets, and we started to make patterns. Also, I bought this little girl here. It's the best probably investment ever I've made. It's a Bernina Overlocker. And how Businka Mania sewing started. That's why Businka Mania is not a name. My name is Alena. Nice to meet all of you, people who is online. And today I put some poll on Instagram, and we were thinking with you guys what fabric better to pick for the sewing project. Everyone voted for this fabric, so we will go for this one. And I think first I'm going to explain to you about the fabric, how to pick the fabric, especially if you're new for underwear making. I remember when I started, like YouTube didn't exist at all in terms of the good quality videos or learning content for lingerie. Sorry for my English, for lingerie making. And just a little bit feeling stressed because this is my first live, and I'm hoping everything is going well. When I started, no information. All videos were, few of them were on YouTube, were mostly muted videos, no sound, no explanation. It was very tough. So sometimes I understand when you guys writing to me and saying, oh, I'm so afraid to start, I won't, but something fears you in this kind of sewing section. And I decided just to share with you my knowledge. I've been doing this, I think, for 5 years already. I'm making underwear, and just want to show to you that it's more easier and very simple than you think. About the fabric. Different fabric exists, and there is no rules, like no one can say to you, oh, you need to use this one and you can't use this. No, absolutely, forget about this. Obviously standard fabric to make underwear, and I think when you start you should pick that fabric, because if you make a mistake with the sizing or something goes wrong, because it's so stretchable, I mean, even if you select small size, it still will fit you perfectly. This is 4-way stretch mesh. I'm gonna come a little bit more closer. I don't know, do you see or not well, but just look the stretchability of this fabric. It's insane. So if you pick a pattern, for example, size more smaller than you need, this fabric will definitely cover you. So if you start, I advise you this fabric. And I think, it's gonna be a good idea for me to drop all the links. I'm buying fabric mostly on Amazon, so I can prepare for you all the links, what you need of the elastic, of the fabric, all the supplies basically for underwear making in the description box below. And if you want to start, or for example, maybe you're already sewing, but it's difficult for you to find the supplies, and especially in UK, it's really like a quest to find good supplies for underwear making. So you can go in the description, click on those links and have your supplies. So this is the 4-way stretch mesh. Definitely recommend you. And what is good about this fabric, range of the colors, it's just insane. You can pick any tone and basically any color you want. Second fabric, it's simple polyester, spandex, whatever you call it, or normally it's 5% of the spandex and 95 or 90 polyester, depends on the percentage. Also 4-way stretch fabric, amazing quality, and this fabric can be printed. I know some people have a printer in at home, and basically they buy white fabric like this one and they do any printing you want. This fabric, it's the same fabric but just a blue color without print. Lycra, basically, also, yeah, lycra, exactly how you call this in English. Sorry, straight away, English isn't my native language, sometimes can mistake in the naming supplies. This is fabric the same, I bought it in the local shop here in Manchester, very good quality, perfect for underwear making. Well, this one we decided we're not going to go for it. This fabric here I have, it's just a stretchable velvet, and this is not for underwear making. This fabric usually people use to make some dresses, clothes, t-shirts, but I mean, why not? If you want, I have many underwear with this fabric. It's very kind of fluffy, comfortable. You see the texture, basically what I want to say to you in this video, in this life, that don't be bothered about what people say to you, because I know sometimes you can buy a fancy course and you can't this, you can't that. Just pick what you want. Even if you want leather panties, who stops you? Just go for it. Make sure only when you pick the size of the pattern, because fabric isn't stretchable. Obviously you need to compensate this by taking a pattern a little bit more bigger size than you need. Here's my fabric. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I forgot to take it, but I'm gonna explain you on hands. Normally, you see, on each, let's talk about the pattern. Pattern is simple. It's a front element, back element, and the gusset. This is kind of basic underwear pattern you can find everywhere. At least on our patterns you have this triangle, so because it was on one page, this one was on another, you see, and I just stick them together, and you all the time will have a fold. It means that you need to fold the fabric in half, and on top of the fold you will need to place the pattern. I'm not sure, can you see me or not, how I'm placing here? Esteem? That's my husband behind, will read your comments. On camera, can you see? Yeah, cool, because I don't see well. But my tip, because what happens usually, you know, it's good when you have a new fabric you just brought in the shop, you know, you can fold it properly and put your pattern. But what happens if you have something like that? You see, this end, it's completely like cut out, and sometimes when you fold it you don't see do you have enough fabric or not. Usually what I would do, I would print two elements like this and just stick them together, and basically I'll have a full front element, and I'll do exactly the same with the back element, and I'll have a full back element. This way I don't need to fold my fabric. I just place the pattern, just, of course it's back and front, but imagine it's going to be something like that. So usually I'm going to place it, and it's more easier for me to see where, you know, to pick the position, so I can save as much fabric as I can without wasting the fabric. But in this video I'm going to show you how to do this correctly. I'm going to fold the fabric. By the way, if you're sewing with me and I'm going a little bit too fast, don't hesitate to let me know. Just write a comment, I'm gonna pause. Also, if you have some question which was, you know, troubling you for a long time and you didn't know anyone to ask, this is the time. Just let me know what you have in your mind. At the moment, I'm going to fold the fabric, and on top of the fold I'm going to place the pattern. After, I'm going to grab a piece of chalk, and I'm using a chalk, only chalk all the time. I don't know, I'm not welcoming all these fancy pencils, you know, this pencil when you outline, after you put your iron, you heat it and it disappears. Because problem of it, if it gets cold and for example you miss the position of the pattern, you put it in the wrong place, let's say you outline this, it's a wrong place, you know, happened many times to me. Then I want to move it, and this outlining, it appears back after on the fabric. That's why I'm not using all this fancy stuff. I'm just going for a simple chalk. For me, I mean, it's just something better than any fancy, all these kind of gadgets. Yeah, let's call it gadgets. I'm going to outline. And by the way, I don't know, can you hear my dog snoring or not? If you do, I apologize in advance. This is something out of my control, because I don't want to put her in a different room, because then it's gonna be a big drama for her. So here we are. I outline my back element, and now I'm going to cut it off. To cut the pattern, I'm using a small scissors. You know, I have these scissors for a long time, like a professional scissors for a tailor. And believe me, I was trying to give it a go for many times. Really, I don't know, can't first they're too heavy, fabric is too thin, and especially when you do the lace. I can see someone put a comment. Can you read it for me? Because I can't see.
Yeah, people say that I can't see all the pattern and your hands are almost out of the shot.
Out of the shot. Okay, thank you. I'm going to move it more here.
We see.
We're gonna try to maybe to tilt it a little bit down. Great. Oh, yeah. Okay, so
Need to be more in the
here,
back.
yes, in the back here, right? This way. The other way. So more this way, right? Because someone is typing. I was like, I can see. So guys, tell me, is it here?
Towards, it's toward here. No, not toward.
More.
Yeah, yeah.
More. So pattern is gonna be here. We have a pattern here. Isn't too far.
I think it's good.
Someone else? We're gonna nail it. We're definitely gonna nail it. So as much as I can see on my
Ask if it's better.
hand here, second, because pattern is here near you.
Near to
So
you.
yeah.
Like this.
I'm getting there, I think. So no, this way. Are we there, guys? It's important line. Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Great, thank you so much. So, as I told before, I place the pattern, I outline this with the chalk and chalk only, then I grab my mini scissors because, I don't know, something big scissors are not for me. If you're comfortable with this, that's cool, but I'm going for this one also because edges, when you cut everything around, you're more in the control and they're more kind of smooth. It prevents actually when you sew on the elastic, and especially picot elastic, when you sew picot elastic, so after you don't need to trim around. When your edges are clean from the get-go, it just saves you a lot of time when you're gonna sew on the elastic. And I'm just going to cut everything out. And we are cutting. You know, when you do video tutorial, it's so comfortable and fast because you are in control, you know. If you, my God, she's snoring like a hell. If you don't like something, you can cut it out. If you made a mistake, you can repeat. But here I was a little bit, not kind of worried, but yeah, you can say worried, definitely. It's like, oh, if something goes wrong. Do you know how many times happened to me that I sew on the elastic and I sew it on the opposite side and I need to spend like hour to rip it out completely. And I know, I think I didn't see one person existing on this planet who loves to rip the seams. I don't know, guys, if someone is there loving to rip the seams, just say you're here because I'm not one of those people. Okay, back element is done. And trying to be in frame. This is what I have. Simple back element with the fold in the middle. This is the leftover back element. I'm going to put it here. And now I'm going up. That's the back, sorry. Fold it back again for the front element. But if you're sewing like a lot of underwear, and especially maybe if you're selling them, I really would recommend you to stick two fronts together so you have a full pattern. It's much more easier and faster to work than, you know, to do this precision while you are folding the fabric, because you see you all the time you need to play with this, because here I have a hole and I don't know, it just, for me, it's not really comfortable. But I want to show you like a right way, like people would say to you, you need to do in school. Okay, you see, again I'm wasting my time because I need to keep folding and folding. Obviously, when you have a one-tone fabric, like you know, no print or anything, it's more simple because you can reverse, change the position. But when you have a print and this print needs to match front and back, so it looks, you know, not like upside down, definitely this is the most what will take your time. Yeah, perfect. Also, I know that some people are pinning the pattern to the fabric and cut straight away. Also not my thing. I was trying to do it thinking, okay, I'm gonna kind of save time. Sorry, it's sometimes difficult to concentrate when you do something and talk in the same time. So me, I was thinking, okay, it's gonna save me time, so I'm gonna cut without outlining. And again, edges were not clean. Sometimes you grab more fabric, or sometimes when you try to go more closer to the edges, you cut more fabric. I mean, I don't know, just didn't work for me really. But you can try it, you know, it doesn't hurt to try. It doesn't mean whatever doesn't work for me, it won't work for you as well. On the front element, I don't know what pattern are you using, but for example, if you're using the Bella pattern, on the front element we have a gusset marks. Don't forget to put the gusset marks, because it's gonna be more simple for you when you're gonna sew to attach the gusset, and you don't waste your time. Because before, when I was making the patterns, one second, I'm gonna put a mark. So on the front element, it's mirror, I have the gusset mark. Back in the days, I was not making this mark, and what happened, even for me when I was sewing my own patterns, I didn't know exactly where to pin the gusset, and when I finished my you know, underwear I was making, gusset was all like this, and especially because I started to sell some underwear for the customers, it wasn't looking like professional. If you do it for yourself, yeah, you can say it's okay, but if you do like to sell, if you're a business, you have a shop, or you know, you may be selling to your friends because you have a lot of friends, then yeah, make sure that gusset needs to be straight. Put the marks. Where is my, oh, it's here, my scissors. And now I'm going to cut a front element as well. We are cutting. Also, it's a good thing to have this cutting roll, I believe you call it. It's like these things for the pizza, but you well, I don't know how to say this differently, because that's how it looks like. Then definitely it will save crazy amount of time, because you don't need to pin the pattern, you just to place it, bam, 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 ready. Fantastic. I think I need to buy one. I don't know, when I never bought one for myself. I think it's gonna be good. Okay, I think here I need to stand up because it's angle. Okay, front element done. And here's the front element. And now I'm going to put a second mark on the other side. So where's my front one? So you see here, I put two, I don't know, I'm gonna go closer. Oh, rotary cut is amazing. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for correcting my English. So this is the marks I put for the gusset. And now the fabric for the gusset. This is something interesting about the fabric for the gusset. Okay, here we go. This is the red one. I'm gonna show you on the white one.
Elizabeth says, I'm just dropping by while I'm in the church. Elizabeth is there.
Honey, I'm so happy to see you. I hope your session is okay. Yeah, I know she's in the church because she told me when we were chatting on Instagram. I'm very happy that you attended this even for a little bit. I'm definitely gonna save this live, so people who can't be present at least can watch it a little bit later. But I was thinking about you. Let's back to the fabric. You see this fabric? And this fabric, believe me, everybody has this fabric at home. When we go to any sport department to buy our gym clothes, you can find this fabric on every t-shirt. It has these small marks. I'm gonna come a little bit more closer to show. You see? I'm more than sure if you now go to your wardrobe, you can find something similar like this. Because I know I had a lot of criticism sometimes from the people like, oh yeah, but it's still not like a jersey fabric, not like soft fabric. I bought different collection, all the possible colors of this soft fabric for lining, you know, for the gussets, and everything went to bin. Thanks God I bought each piece like 30, like small, just to test. First, when needle was punching this fabric, you need to pay attention if it's not fresh fabric, if it was in the stock for a long time in the shop, it gets dry. Whatever you start to sew it with your needle, and whatever the best needle you can select, it's gonna make a holes if fabric is not fresh. For example, let's say it was for 5 years in the storage of the shop, they were not selling, and suddenly you decided to buy it. So technically, you just flush your money on the wind. This is kind of a polyester fabric, a little bit of polyester inside, but still it's very soft, it's comfortable. I'm using this fabric since I'm making the underwear. It's actually also two kind you can find. This one is two-way stretch. You see, it's stretching here, but it's not stretching in this direction. I have the same black one. 1 second, I'm gonna try to, I think it's here. Give me a moment. Oh, yay. Yeah, I have a small piece of it. Have a black one. Basically, on the camera, they will look similar, but stretchability is different. So, this is the white one, and this is the black one. Exactly the same print, texture, sorry, not print, texture of the fabric. But if you look this one, stretching this way, basically stretching all the way. If you find this one, it's fantastic. If you have to stretch, no problem. Me, I'm using this one for a long time and it works perfectly. So this is the fabric for the gusset. It's not gonna make any holes while you're sewing this. It's very soft to the skin, and when you wash it, you won't have all these, you know, small bubbles sometimes you have when fabric get used. I don't know, it will look clean until the last day of your panties, to be honest. And for this, I'm just going to take the gusset, place it on top, outline and cut. Basically the same as I did with the back and front element. Okay. It's not easy to do outlining on the table because everything is sliding around. Normally when I want to sew very fast, I'm just gonna go on the carpet. Carpet is just a lifesaver. Oh yeah, one thing. When you outline the pattern, and especially if it is bikini pattern, you see, you don't really see the difference. Here on the paper, writing helps you a lot because you know where is the top and where is the bottom. But here, when we have just on the fabric, if you don't pay attention, you can't really see where is the top, where is the bottom, right? So me, usually I'm gonna put on top a cross, so I know for sure this is the top element. So basically I don't reverse by accident and all patterns goes all over the place, and after ripping. Now I'm going to cut it. I'm so happy, to be honest, with these scissors. I think I bought it for the craft, not even for sewing. But they're so sharp. I have them already for 2 or 3 years. Never had any issue with this. And just bought these scissors in a local store for 10 quid, I think. It's not even expensive one. Okay. It's such a mess. Usually when I do my sewing, I tend to clean everything straight away. It takes time though, but I like when everything is neat. But at the moment, if you look here, it's things all over the place because I just fold and I drop it. I think I'm gonna rearrange a little bit and drop it in that way so it's not on my way. Done. We have a gusset here cut. Then we take our front element and we place it this way. On top of the front element, you always need to place a back element. I think if you memorize these rules, like on top of the front element, place the back element, and it's free, basically, movement you need to do, and you can sew pretty much every pattern. Because if to be honest, they're all kind of the same. If I take a tongue, following will be the same. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. I place on top of the front element, back element. I will align so everything is straight, and then the gusset. You take the gusset, and obviously fabric has a right side and the wrong side. All the time you need to place it with the wrong side down. Sorry, right side down. So basically right side on the wrong side of the fabric. Align everything together, and then the needles. My famous donuts, I so love them. And you pin this with the needles. Technically, after you can go to your overlocker or sewing machine, because if you don't have an overlocker, it's not a big deal. You still can make most of underwear just by having a sewing machine. This seam is going to be closed, no one will see it, because it's gusset is going to be flipped on top of the fabric, and basically if you just use a sewing machine, no one will see it. That's what I'm trying to say. But me, sometimes what can happen when you start to sew, because it is elastic fabric, everything can start to slide right, left. So it's really up to you, up to your choice. But me, I love to use the lighter. I know sometimes people are saying to me, oh, I'm afraid, everything can go on fire. Oh, here I have a small piece. If I don't know how my fabric will react, because sometimes I'm working with the lace or the mesh for the first time and I don't know this fabric, usually I'll do, I'll take some small scrap, I'll fold it in half first, because you need to know for sure are they gonna stick between each other or not. And I'm just going to test. If I see everything going in flame, obviously, you need to be more gentle. But for this fabric, it's, I don't know, you can go back and forth and nothing happens. But again, it's really up to you. Me, I like this technique because when I'm sewing, you see, everything is not moving. Basically, it's like melting this place. And again, I know some people will say, yeah, but it's gonna irritate your skin. No, it won't, because this is going to be inside of the fabric. You won't feel anything. So that's why I'm going to take my lighter and just stick everything together, because it really saves my time while I'm sewing. If you're not in the rush, well, nothing stops you to do it without the lighter. And again, I'm going to show you how still to prevent the sliding even without the light if you don't feel comfortable to use it. Okay, done. Now, if you have an overlocker, you go to overlocker. If you don't have an overlocker, you go to your standard sewing machine, and we need to sew this place here. Obviously, if you have the overlocker, then you need to overlock the top edge of the fabric as well. If you don't have the overlocker, this fabric, I think you said crumbling, right? You see, it's not crumbling. So even if you don't use it, that's why I'm saying that overlock, it's not some or serger. It's something not like you really need or will change completely quality of your underwear. It's nice to have, don't get me wrong, but if you don't have it, it's okay, because this fabric, it's cool. Basically, if you have an overlocker, you go and you sew here. If you don't have an overlocker, you can use or zigzag stitch or elastic stitch or just simple straight stitch. But if you use a simple straight stitch, I'll advise you to sew here twice. Just go one side and back. So it's two kind of lines of sewing. And for me, the overlocker. This is all the time what I do when I make my tutorials. I have a sewing machine, I have an overlocker, and every shot I need to put down, remove, put down, remove. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's really solid gymnastic you're doing by pulling this up and down all the time. Okay, I changed my already threads. If you follow me on Instagram, you could see. And I hate changing threads. I don't know, something. I mean, I wish sometimes I could have 2-3 overlockers. So one is all the time black color, one is all the time white color, and let's say I have a third one just to, you know, mix color. It's just a dream. I just wish. Okay, I'm gonna say my settings on the overlocker. All the tension of the threads I have on the number 4. Obviously, it depends of the overlocker you have at home, but most of the time any standard settings when you buy your overlocker will work perfectly for the sewing. And I think before jumping, I'm going to test it, because the biggest mistake when you change the color of the threads on your overlocker, it happens to me a million times, and it's like, yeah, I threaded, everything is okay, you know, cool, I'm just gonna go and start to sew. And one thread maybe didn't go in the correct place and it started to loop, and again you come and you sit and read. So now what I'm trying to do all the time before starting to sew, it's first test it on some scrap of the fabric, because you don't want to rip, and especially on such a delicate fabric as a, you know, underwear fabric, because all this fabric, if you sew it many times back and forth and you rip and you sew back, it's, I don't know, it looks like it was used. I'm going to fold it and just to see is it okay or not. Machine makes some noise. I'm not sure you're gonna hear me well. So if you don't, let me know. Yeah, you see, something is already, I can tell you, going wrong with the threads. Yeah, it's like sometimes you just need for machine to start to sew, because some thread can be under. I mean, it's tricky. Always test it.
The angle people don't see.
Oh, sorry. This way, I believe.
It's better, yeah.
Yeah. I don't see well now too, but okay. I'm gonna manage. It's not first time when I'm managing, right? When I'm recording the tutorials. Okay, we remove the fabric. You grab the fabric and you place this. Quick tip, if you don't use the lighter, you need to place the fabric under the needles. So basically, this is the fabric, and needles needs to go on top of the fabric. Done. Where's my foot? Usually you will have some threads, you know, coming these tails from the back. You need to pull them, because if you don't pull them, it will kind of chew the fabric. Okay, my husband is correcting, so you see me properly. So basically, if you want to avoid this chewing and, you know, fabric goes inside of the overlocker in that small hole there, I would recommend to pull it. And my dog is complaining because she's not happy to be locked. Okay. When fabric already started to kind of, you know, slide and come out from the back of your foot, then you can release your hand and do not hold these threads anymore. I'm going to remove the needles, and I'm going to search this place as well. And especially with the gusset, you know, if you don't hold this place here, this corner completely will be like this. Believe me, it always happens with me. I don't know why, but it does. So we put the needles on top, we hold these ends of the threads, and we just pull it. Now I'm going to move it back. Gymnastic. Oop. So this is, oh, this is what I have. I don't know, can you see or not, guys? Just let me know, because sometimes I can't see myself, am I in frame or not. And this is for the gusset on both sides. And you see, this is the front element, this is the back element, this is the gusset. Sometimes people say to me, oh yeah, but this place, because you burn, it's going to irritate your skin. No, it won't, because you see, boom, you fold it this way, so your gusset will go on top of the front element. And you see, this place completely covered from the front element, from the front side of the fabric and from the, no, 1 second, I'm gonna melt it. So from the right side and from the wrong side of the fabric. Oh, my English, sorry. And even if you don't use the overlocker and you just sew twice on your normal sewing machine, standard sewing machine, no one will see whatever mess you will do there. I love to do my cleanup straight away. Believe me, it will save you time more when you're gonna attach, when you're gonna sew on your elastic. That's why I'm just grabbing the scissors and I'll cut off all the threads. In this place, because I know sometimes people afraid, just terrified to cut any millimeter of the fabric, because when you start, obviously you think, oh, I'm doing something wrong. If I have some fabric left, oh, it means because I made a mistake. No, it's just because fabric is stretchable, and yeah, sometimes it sucks, you know, things can go right and left. And on my, you see, on my pattern here, on my fabric, back is a little bit here and front is a little bit there. And even on the side of the gusset, you can see this difference. See, my gusset is a little bit more lower than the fabric itself. All I'll just do is to grab my scissors and make everything even. And you see, it's like literally 2-3 millimeters of the fabric. I'm just cutting off. I'm just cutting it off. Here it's the same. Oh my god, how to correct myself? Yeah, this way. You see this place here, the back, it's like a small bubble here. Fabric is coming out of the back element. I'll also as well grab my scissors and just trim this place. Basically, don't be afraid to trim stuff. Done. Now we grab we grab our gusset and we place the gusset on top of the gusset marks. It's more easier to do when it's flat. Done. And then I'll pin this, but I'm going to show you how to pin this. Now on the tutorial you can show all these small details, small things, otherwise this tutorial would be, I don't know, like 5 hours long. But when you can do a live, people can see all these small things, tips, tricks, which can help you in your sewing. Okay, just going to turn. You see the way I pin the gusset? So technically I could pin it this way. You see? But then when I'm going to sew on the elastic here, this pin will go on my way, or under the elastic when I'm going to sew it on, or I'll need to remove it. And if I remove it, I need to make sure exactly that the lining fabric is on top of the marks. When you pin it a little bit kind of on the side, obviously elastic will go here. You don't need to remove the needle, it's still gonna be there and it won't disturb you on your way while you're sewing. This is just a trick. Make sure when you pin the gusset, it's kind of on the marks, but needle isn't on your way. And I'll do the same on the opposite side. Yep. This way. Think about this, panties are almost done. Now about the elastic, which also I'm going to attach all the links in the description box below, because elastic is just Wild West. It's so many out there you can find. But technically they are going on 2 different for, at least for bottom, when you sew the bottom. First one, which is the fold over elastic. Mine is 1.5 centimeters. This elastic goes up to 2.5 centimeters, so basically more larger. Standard for bottoms, when you're sewing the bottoms, it's 1.5 centimeters. But if you go for swimwear, you know, actually I even made a hoodie for my dog and put this around the borders, around the edges in the bottom and on the sleeves. I use this elastic. It's very clean, very comfortable, and I mean this elastic I use everywhere I can, even when I make my dolls. So, but basically this is the most simplest. Simplest? How you say this? Simple, my love. Simple.
Simple.
More simple elastic you can think of. If you're a beginner, I would recommend you to start to sew with the fold over elastic. It's just simple, very simple. Elastic. Each elastic will have this kind of small line in the middle, and this line, technically, it is a fold place of the elastic. In this place, elastic will fold, you know, on both sides actually very well. And all you will need to do is just to place your fabric in the middle of the elastic, exactly on this line, fold the elastic like a book. And then you will need to sew here on top. I mean, it's so simple. This is the fold over elastic. A range of the colors. Also, you can find everything you want, especially if you use the mesh fabric, as I was talking to you before, because it's so many colors there available. This elastic will go perfectly because each color of the elastic will match each color of the fabric existing in the shop. So this is the fold over elastic. Now, second elastic, which we often use, it calls picot elastic. I don't know why. If to be honest, I call it elastic with the scallops. It makes more sense for me. I'm going to show you how this elastic looks like. This elastic can be different. Yeah, it's focusing better this way. You see, you can have scallops like this, or more smaller. This elastic doesn't have a big range of the colors, on my opinion. It's more like a standard one, red, black, pink, blue, but not like if you need some specific blue, for example, it will be very challenging to find. But still, basic ones are there. You see, both with the scallops, but both of them, oh my god, because camera is mirrored and sometimes it's so difficult to find the position, how to show this to you guys, this way. You see, different scallops you have. This one is more bigger and this one more smaller. This elastic, it's a little bit more challenging to sew. I would say if like it's your first panties ever, you never touch underwear sewing, I would recommend to go more with the fold over elastic. When you get comfortable with the fold over elastic, let's say you maybe make a 5 panties, then you can go and use a picot elastic. And again, it's just a habit. Don't think that, okay, I take and my first panties will be like a Victoria's Secret, you know, panties. It's normal. For me, it took, with the fold over elastic, to practice the stretching, it took me between 5 and 10 panties to make it like visually presentable. They were still wearable, these panties, but elastic sometimes, because I wasn't stretching enough, was kind of wavy. And because of this, when you put these pictures, these panties flat to make a picture, it was like, yeah, you can see it was handmade panties. When you put, fantastic, perfect, but visually, that's what I'm trying to say to you, that visually it was not as appealing on the picture if you're doing, especially for the commercial, for Instagram or whatever social media you are using. So even me, it took me quite some time to nail it right. So if you sew your panties and it doesn't work from the first time, don't panic. Just be persistent, practice, practice, practice. It will make a difference. Me, I'm going to show you how to sew on the fold over elastic. But I'll attach all the links for you, so you have an options. And also on my YouTube channel, step by step on my tutorials, I'm showing how to sew and picot elastic and the fold over elastic. And believe me, it's not really difficult. It looks like, but it's not. I'm going to move it back. Okay, this is the panties now. We pin our gusset. And the elastic doesn't matter, picot or the fold over elastic, we need to sew here and here, basically where our legs hole, I believe you call it, right? Now I need to make my hands dirty. Oof. The machine, I'm going to use a Brother. It's a Brother Star 45. This model, I don't think it exists. It's a very old machine, but what I can tell you for the Brother brand, that's you buy something for life. As much good as Bernina. That's my opinion. I'm quite happy because it never let me down. Now I need to set up the sewing machine. I'm going to use the red threads, which are matching my elastic. About the threads, you can use any polyester thread. I mean, this thread cost me less than £1, this bobbin. Or you can go fancy and you can go Gutermann. This brand, I love it a lot, but I like it more for the toys sewing. This thread doesn't twist when you sew with it. Obviously, when you use it on the sewing machine, you don't really see the difference because it's, you know, threaded. But you see the difference when you wash your clothes. Normal thread, which you buy simple without any brand, when you wash it, it's become kind of a fluffy, and you can see even like this. When you look at this, you can see this fluffiness here. When Gutermann, it's like pure polyester, no fluffiness. When you wash your clothes or your underwear, whatever you're making, it's going to stay forever like new. If it's, you know, within your budget and you can afford like to buy a lot, especially if you sew clothes, I mean, you need 4 minimum like this, then it's great. If you don't, I'm still using this one quite a lot. This is just about the threads. And I'm going to thread my girl. Threading of the sewing machine, mostly all are the same. Technique you need to use. It doesn't matter which brand of the machine you're using. Okay, I hope I'm going to have enough of the bobbins. It's just let's hope I'm lucky and I don't need to, you know, rethread it again. Guys, can you see well, or do you want me to push the machine more closer? Just let me know. Maybe like this. Can you see well? Okay. Okay. Here's my elastic. This is the elastic and this is the fabric. Make sure, this is important, when you sew, you place the fabric in the middle of the elastic, you fold this, but when you sew, this should be your face. Basically, it shouldn't be this way. 1 second, I'm gonna hold it. Because if you're going to sew, basically you can see your needle here, then you don't see what happens here, and sometimes elastic can a little roll or twist, and basically it's going to be on your beautiful side, which you want to avoid, because any mess, if it happens inside, it's inside. Yeah, what can you say? It's inside. Just try to make sure when you fold it, always beautiful side on your face, so you can see what you are doing. Give me 1 second, because I was using this elastic and it's a little bit fluffy in the beginning. About the settings and the needles, yeah, I think we should also talk about this. Settings obviously going to be different depending on the elastic you are using. Me, I'm using 1.5 centimeters elastic. That's why settings of my machine width, it's gonna be at number 6, and the length at number 2. If I pick the elastic, let's say, and my elastic 1.5 centimeter, let's say it's 2 centimeter, it's more thicker. Obviously when you fold, it's 1.7 at the moment, but if you fold the elastic which is 2 centimeters, it's gonna be 1 centimeter, it's gonna be more thicker. Obviously if you put width on the number 6, I think I'm going to try to come closer to the camera to explain you what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's okay, come in. So basically, again, basically it's my parasite words, this way. For this elastic, if I use the width number 6, all this zigzag will perfectly cover the elastic. But let's say if my elastic more larger, if I'm going to use number 6, I'm gonna cover this place, but this is gonna be empty, and what is gonna happen, elastic while you're wearing your underwear will start to roll. If your elastic more thicker, then the width of the stitching you will need to increase to number 7 or to maximum what you have on your sewing machine. Just let me know, guys, if it makes sense to you what I'm trying to explain. Because Pico elastic, it is more thinner elastic than a fold-over elastic. Then my width I'm going to correct for the elastic I'm using. Usually just few numbers right, few numbers left, but you need to make sure that whatever you are stitching is covering completely the elastic from the beginning till the end. Okay, moving the mess. Put in the machine. Grabbing the elastic, beautiful side facing me, folding it and place it under the foot. Okay, and then you just start to sew. Tension between 3 and 4, all the time put somewhere in the middle. That's kind of standard tension, mostly for all the fabrics I'm using. I never, sew the jersey, like thick jersey fabric or denim or leather, so this is fabric I'm not using. And for the fabric like chiffon, light basically fabrics, my tension all the time between 3 and 4. Width depends on the elastic, and the length of the stitching I'm using elastic stitch are all the time put on number 2. Needles I'm using, it's 7511. And let me explain about the needles, because I have some people saying, oh, whatever I'm trying to sew, my threads keeps breaking, or it keeps looping in the back, from the bobbin. And sometimes people don't realize how needles are important. And when you start to talk about needles, sometimes people also think, oh, it's like a science, oh, it's too much, it's not for me. I'm gonna tell you a simple rule. Every needle which has a 5 at the end, like 65, 75, 85, 95, every needle which has a 5 at the end, it's for the stretchable fabric. Every needle which has a 0 at the end, like 60, 70, 80, it's for the same fabric but with no stretchability. Let's say you have a mesh fabric like this, and it's very stretchable. You use needle 75. Let's say you have the same fabric, thin, the same mesh, like you have some lace sometimes, but it's not stretchable at all, then you pick needle with the 0 at the end. It will be needle number 70. Obviously, more thicker fabric you use, more your needle will go up into the number. For example, if you use like fabric jeans, you decide to sew jeans, denim fabric you are using, your needle is gonna be 110. But if you use denim, which is stretchable denim, then you go for the needles or 95 or 115. It's really up to the thickness of your denim you're going to use. The same leather. Sometimes you can have a leather which is stretchable. Sometimes it's just a leather like very thick but not stretchable. So basically remember, 5 at the end of the number, it's for the stretchy fabric. If it's 0, it's not for the stretchable. The only difference sometimes, because all these companies who's providing for us needles, all these sewing companies like Bernina, for example, fantastic needles. They have a needles number 80. Normally it's not for stretchable fabric, but I put this in my sewing machine it was sewing like melted butter. I mean, I don't know how they nailed it, but Bernina needles working fantastically. Schmetz needles also, they created needles for the stretchy fabric. Then if you see these needles, you don't need to overthink, oh, what is this 5, not 5 at the end, because now they are doing precise needles for the stretchable fabric, needles for the leather. Then you just pick the box and you sew. Ready now. Enough talking, let's sew. I place my fabric in the middle of the elastic and I start to sew for like 1-2 centimeters, I'll say, just to grab the fabric and elastic together. Next, you need to stretch the fabric. Sorry, you don't need to stretch the fabric, you need to stretch a little bit of the elastic. What's gonna happen if you're not going to stretch the elastic? Basically, when you sew, your foot is pressing the elastic. By pulling elastic and stretch it a little bit, it will compensate this, and basically you won't have these waves when you look at your underwear and it will look like, I don't know, someone was wearing them for 100 years. Obviously, they need to be a little bit more stretchy around the legs and the waist as well. So because of this, I'm just going to pull a little bit the elastic, but I don't stretch the fabric, and keep sewing. And don't forget to put the fabric inside of the elastic as much deeper, you know, as you can to this fold place of the elastic. Nice and good. And also one tip, because happened to me a few times and I completely abandoned the project because my mind was not in that much ripping mode. So I started to sew and I keep sewing until the end. Then I turned the fabric on the opposite side and I could see all these threads looping in the back. And I was like, no, my mind is not there to completely rip everything out. It's gonna take me almost 2 hours. More simple to start from the get-go. And that happened because my needle got used. Normally people say that you need to change your needle after 8-10 hours. So if you start to sew, just basically count, okay, I sew 1 hour non-stop, it's 1 hour of usage of my needles. You need to wait 8 hours or 10 hours and change it. Me, I never count. You just can feel when the needle is used. Normally it's start to break the thread all the time, and you know your fabric is correct, your needle is correct for this fabric, but it's keep breaking. It means this needle, you need to say bye-bye to it. Or sometimes when you turn and it's a lot of loops, like really it's tons of the fabric on the back from the bobbin side. Also it means you need to say goodbye to this needle. When I'm sewing, my needle goes from this edge up to the edge of the elastic, completely, you know, covering everything. I don't have like space. I'm gonna actually show you when I'm gonna finish and I will be more closer. Again, don't forget to make sure that the gusset on the max stays on the max, the lining fabric, I mean. Getting there, almost finished the front element. When it comes to the thick places, like the crotch seam, you will need to pull a little bit the fabric, otherwise it's gonna be slowing down and you will have a lot of stitches on the same place. So you see, I'm sewing here calm. But when it comes to this crotch seam where we have few layers of the fabric together, I'm just going to pull a little bit, so it's kind of sliding gently and smooth. When I pass this place, I'm going to continue sewing as usual. one side, and I'll cut this on the other side as well. And this is what I have. See, it's not waving, just quite straight, and a little bit you will have a nice wrinkles, and it's stretchy on both sides. Sometimes people ask me, oh, why there is no exactly centimeters of the elastic, centimeters or inches of the elastic, so I know exactly how much I will need to, you know, to sew on around the leg, or if it's top, around the armholes. It's so individual to each type of the elastic. I can count, I can give you a formula, but even if you pick the same fold over elastic, let's say red color or black color, and you pick the fold over elastic with the white color, these measurements won't work for you. What I notice about the elastic, that even the same brand of the elastic all the time has different stretchability percentage. More darker colors, what I notice, they're so kind of stretchable, so thick and good, you know, like good quality of the elastic. And when you buy more lighter color, I don't know why, it depends, maybe because when they dye the elastic, this color affects it this way, God knows, I don't know. But light color of the elastic, they're more weaker, more loose, I'll say. It's like they're too stretchy. And let's say I give you the measurements. Okay, around the leg you need this amount of the elastic to sew on, and you sew it. Black one works perfectly, but you take white elastic and or elastic with these small scallops, and then you're going to have a waves. Why? Because this elastic has a different stretchability, and only by controlling yourself, by pulling, and that will come only with the practice, you know, with your experience. It's not overnight, but in the future, if you sew underwear regularly, you will understand that, okay, this elastic, it's kind of a little bit weak. I call it weak elastic because they're really like, you know, not stretching well. Okay, this one I need to stretch a little bit more to have this wrinkly effect. For example, sometimes elastic like this, it's like very good elastic quality. I stretch it less because even by stretching a little bit, it's going to squeeze nicely. So because of this, it's just practice, and on top you don't waste your elastic. Let's say you cut already elastic. Yeah, you cut it. You started to sew it on, and then you have 5 centimeters elastic left because while you were stretching, I don't know, it happened because elastic wasn't enough good and you had leftover. Just count over the time how many leftovers you put in the bin. That's why I never cut elastic from the roll. I cut it only when it comes to the end. I finish to sew it, I cut, and I keep as much of my stock as I can without wasting it. This is just my advice to you if you don't want to waste a lot of supplies. And again, as I all the time make, I don't have a ruler next to me, but I'm gonna show this on the paper again, like an example with the stretchability. Let's say I take this amount of elastic and I'm not stretching it, right? You see? Could they see? Yeah, they see. And now I'm going to stretch this amount maximum. You see? This is what I maximum can get. Maximum. This elastic is stretching like a lot because it's not really, you know, squeezed elastic. I don't know, good quality elastic. It's not bad, but I can't find correct word for this in English. So yeah, basically it stretches a lot. I take the same amount of the elastic, but red one, and this is maximum I can stretch. Basically I'm losing around, I'll say 5 centimeters for good. And just imagine, this is, I'm losing just on this small amount. Just imagine how many of these amounts are here. You will have big leftover. So don't cut it. Don't ask to, you know, oh, well, can you count it's not going to work with different elastic. You always will need a different amount. That's why I even don't bother to put this on my pattern or description of the pattern, because I know it's going to be thousands of complaints after, like, oh, you know, you count this elastic, I saw it on and it's all wavy and doesn't look good and blah blah blah. Now I'll sew it on the elastic. Yeah, wow, my husband is guiding me a little bit. On this side. Otherwise, if I talk too much, we're never going to finish these panties. Okay, if this one, I started to sew from the front element up to the back one. On the opposite side, I'm going to start from the back element going to the front one. Otherwise, if I start from the front, I'm going to be on this side, and I need to see a beautiful side when I'm sewing. Okay. Placing it in the middle, folding as usual. Place it inside and start to sew. From the both sides. Also, when you're using the lycra fabric, just imagine this is the fold over elastic. You just put this in the middle and you fold. But when I was using, especially in the beginning, I was using a lot of this underwear mesh fabric, because it's so thin and sliding. When you sew, sometimes elastic can go completely, fabric can go out of the elastic, and you will have the elastic and then hole between fabric, because I don't know, sometimes it happens you didn't grab it properly. And because this is on top of very thin fabric, what you need to do when you place it inside of the elastic, it's not just edge to the elastic, you can even a little bit put more, because even if it rolls, you know, like kind of one layer on top of the other layer, it's not big deal, because this fabric is so thin. In terms of the elastic, you will not feel this thickness. And when you learn how to sew underwear, this is the best way, because you can really, like, I'm going to try to show you here. For example, me, when I'm using the lycra fabric, I'm going to put the elastic, the fabric in the middle of the elastic, and I'm going to fold it right in the middle. One second, I can't see, one second. This way. But if I'm going to use the mesh fabric, when I was learning to sew, that's why it was very comfortable, I'll put elastic almost, fabric almost up to the end of the elastic and fold it this way. This, it gives me 2 layers, you know, inside when I'm stitching. And definitely whatever even zigzag you're using, if you don't use elastic stitch, for example, you use only zigzag simple, because sometimes not every sewing machine can have the elastic stitch, and then it gives you for sure 100% sure that your fabric never is going out from the elastic, and you're not going to have some holes between your elastic and the fabric. Because that many people contacted me and, oh yeah, I was sewing, everything was nice, but I was pushing the fabric inside, but some places I missed this and I have this hole. So really, when you start with the mesh. It's just a perfect fabric for the learning. to finish the panties. It's the most simple and basic pattern. And I don't say the most standard. And machine. Ooh, so it's not on my way. Okay, now finally I can remove my needles. Now we need to fold the panties face to each other, and we need to align the side seams together. Make sure that the elastic on the same level doesn't go this way, it doesn't go this way, it's exactly elastic on top of the elastic. And you pin it on one side and you pin it on the other. By the way, it doesn't matter which side you pin, right one or the left one of the side, you know. Me, as usual, I'm going to use my lighter to prevent the elastic from sliding, but again, I'm going to show you how to do this without the lighter as well. Just melt the elastic and stick it. All the elastic has a polyester inside, that's why it's melting so easily, and you see, it holds on the same level. But again, if you're afraid, it's not something necessary. After I'll use my overlocker. You can use your sewing machine, and we need to sew this place, the side seam, only one, not on this side. To sew the side seam, it's the most trickiest part, and I'll show you how to make it simple. Because on the video sometimes, you know, you cut exactly on the moment when the overlocker starts to sew, and all these small details not on the tutorial, so you can't really see them. Otherwise this tutorial would be so long. Let's say you didn't use the lighter, you align your elastic on the same level, you see, two elastic on the same level, and you place it under the needles, like really under the needles. And then you need to place your needles on top of the elastic. Don't forget to put the foot down. Many times I did forget, and after I was ripping. Don't start to push on the foot like crazy, so it's sliding. You need to do really slowly. Sometimes I even don't use my foot. I'm just rotating these things by hands, because this very, very delicate place, and you don't want your elastic to be not on the same level. I grab the threads all the time, otherwise it's going to chew the fabric and the elastic, and I just rotate it by the hands, and I'm just pulling gently. In this place, believe me, you don't want to rush. This is the only place you want to take your time while you're sewing your underwear. When you pass the thickness of the elastic, then you can use the foot and start to sew, you know, as usual you would do on any normal, you know, product. Align everything together. I only now realize that I probably should keep the black threads so you see the contour. It was my mistake to change them. And now I'm going to show you what I have. You see? Elastic completely on the same level, back and front element. And now I'll just cut off the leftover of the threads and do exactly the same on the other side. Done. Move the overlocker. Ooh, what a gymnastic I have here. This is the front front element of the panties. You see, here we have our gusset. And this is the back element. Whatever you're sewing, it can be skirt, pants, panties, any clothes, tops. Always you need to push the side seams to the back element, toward the back element. Okay, I push it, and because if you don't pin this, and sometimes when you're too much into your project, you really can forget. It happened to me many times, especially when I'm sewing some clothes. I say, oh, I'm gonna remember, I'm not gonna pin it. And then when I'm sewing, already finished, everything perfect, even already press and iron. And then I realized that, oh my God, I did everything on the opposite side. Kind of, yeah, no one will see it, but by the rules, it's big no-no. Every seam, it doesn't matter, is it shoulder seam or it is at the side seams, always need to go to the back element. So here's my back element, I push it to the back, and I just pin it, just in case, so I don't forget. Next step is to sew on the same elastic, fold over, or if you're using the picot elastic, here on top. So basically, in this place around. Everywhere, from the front to the back element. And it seems like I'm going to have enough of the threads in my bobbin. Why no one still created the sewing machine without 10,000 cables? You need to all the time mix between the overlock and the sewing machine. Okay. I place my fabric in the middle of the elastic. I fold it on the beautiful side, don't forget, and I'll sew it. I always pull when I start to sew, otherwise, I don't know why, but everything goes in to the bobbin. Side seam, and I need to make sure that it's to the back element, toward the back element. Done. Gonna cut this on another side. Clean up straight away. And move the sewing machine. Last but not least, we are going to group the side seams, to fold the sides, to paint. Oh my God, my English is going away from me after what, 2 hours of talking almost. So I'm gonna first show you what we have here. 1 second, just going to remove the needle. So, up. This is my front element, and this is my back element. See? Now I'm going to fold my panties face to each other, and again I'm going to align the side seams together. This side is going to be a little bit more challenging than previous one. I'm going to align the elastics on the both sides, front and back, together, and we're going to pin them. Just going to eliminate the fluffiness of the elastic, but I'm not going to melt. So you can see how you can do it without the melting of the elastic. I'm just going to a little bit, because elastic has some fluffiness at the end. So as you can see here, I didn't melt the elastic because I want to show you, if you're afraid to use the lighter, how to do it without. Opa. So you see, perfect. I'm going to align both elastic together and put them straight away under the needles. And you need to put the needles on top of the elastic, like really to punch the elastic. Punch, is it correct? Punch, right? Yeah. Okay, my husband is approving. Okay, done. Don't forget to put it down. And start to sew, but only by using your hand. Okay, I passed through the elastic, and now I'm going to sew up to the elastic. How can I show you? Yeah, up to this elastic. Make sure that elastic on the other side aligned as well. And keep sewing up to the elastic. When you come close, when your elastic coming to the foot, all you just will need is to elevate the foot. Be very careful, make sure your precious fingers are not under the needles. But me, I just will go in the front, turn you, and I'm just going to elevate a little bit. Usually usually I'm going to do like this. That's more easy for me to elevate. I'm going, oh, sorry. It's so mirrored, so difficult to see. So I'm going to elevate this place like this, hold my elastic with one of the hand, and continue sewing. You see, just elevate. Otherwise, if you don't elevate this, elastic in the bottom would smoothly go down, but elastic which is on top will be blocked by the foot, and it's kind of going to slide this way, and what you will have, one elastic here and one elastic there. Basically, when you reverse your panties, one side will be on this level and another is going to be like a big stir. I hope you understand what I mean. Okay, you see. So I'm going to put the foot up, rearrange my elastic so it's on the same level everywhere. Put the foot down, put my leg, my feet under the this foot, sewing foot, or how you call this correctly. Elevate the foot of the overlocker and start to sew very slowly, like really don't rush. I'm going to remove the overlocker so it's not on our way. Threads. and this is the side where I was elevating the foot. You see, it's on the same level. If I would not elevate the foot, one of the side, let's say for example this one, will go like this, let's say, and that's what you would have. Definitely you don't want to have this tear between the front and the back element. Cut the leftover of the threads. Oop. All the small threads, usually I'm just going to eliminate them with the lighter. This is my way, it's comfortable for me. If you're afraid, it's totally okay. You can do it your way. I know some people are kind of moving the threads of overlocker inside. It's also a correct way to do. Now I'll reverse the panties on the opposite side. And you see, front, back, and this is the side. Everything is on the same level, on top, around the legs as well. But this is not it. I'm going to take a needle. You just need a simple needle, sewing needle you have at home. For me it was a black threads there. I'll change them to the red one. One second. You put it in half and you make a knot on the opposite side. Should look this way. Okay, front element, back element. Don't forget to make sure that the side seam goes to the back element. So I'm just going to push it this way and just pin it just in case, you know, happens. Now I'm going to grab my needle and the thread and I'm going to block by hands all the side seams, you know, where you have the elastic on top, down, and on this side we have only down here. Why I'll do it by hands? You can do it on the sewing machine, and some people will say, yeah, when you do, especially, you know, like if you're a business and you're trying to sell a lot by hands, it's going to take too long, you know, too long to sew it. Me, I was trying to do it on the sewing machine, then sometimes needle get blocked, sometimes thread gets broken, and I end up wasting more time on the sewing machine than do it manually by hands. And in my opinion, by hands it's more cleaner, more resistible, I'll say even. Okay, have a question? No? Okay.
Not in English.
If you can translate it in English, I would very appreciate it. So basically I do it all the time by hands, and to sew these side seams I all the time use a blanket stitch. Simple standard blanket stitch. Also the same stitch you're using when you are making a felt toys. It's very simple and very efficient. So this is my back element, and you see the side seams toward the back element. You want to hide your knot inside. Definitely you don't want all this mess to be, you know, on your way, on your eye, basically, so people don't see it. What I would do, and you know what, actually, if by any chance your elastic is not in the same level, like not perfect, this will help you a lot to hide all the mistakes which you did on the overlocker. Oh, you're welcome. I hope it was helpful for you, because as I told before, you really can't show everything in one tutorial, and especially for each video I'm making the tutorial, sometimes I don't want just to repeat myself, and just imagine if tutorial 2 hours each and I repeating myself. I mean, I think it's better to do lives. So, okay, side seams. If your elastic, let's say, not perfectly on the same level, and if you want to correct it and make it like perfectly clean, like nothing happened before, definitely you need to do it by hands. you just fold your elastic again and make sure if it's not, for me it's on the same level, but if just by any chance for you it's not on the same level, just because it's, you know, stretchable, just make sure it's like straight, two elastic on the same level. Then from the side of the back element, this is, you see, this is the back element, I aligned two of my elastic together, and where you have the for me it's overlock if you're using the sewing machine, where you see this line stitches are going, you just punch it this way. You wanna come more closer? I have an operator here helping me. It's like it doesn't want to focus on YouTube or what. Okay, we're gonna give a moment, we're gonna adjust. Doesn't want to focus, kind of. Oh yes, it does. Guys, I'm coming more closer. So as I said, this is the back element, this is the front element. This is our side seam. You see the needle? I punch it from the back element because I want to hide my, one second, my knot here. I align two elastic. If it's not on the same level, let's say one is coming more high, another is more you know, down, I just align them together and I do few blanket stitches. First I block the thread. Second. Of course, when I want to show, all this situation needs to happen, right? One second, yeah. It was just small mistake there, small knot. So I align the elastic and I block the thread. If your elastic not on the same level, just do it few times. Like this blanket stitch, you know. Blanket stitch, it's simple. You just put your needle inside. When you go to the end, you always will have this small loop. You just need to put, all the time going out of the frame, sorry. You want to put your needle into the loop and you stretch it. You see? This way, whatever you do, your elastic, even if it wasn't on the same level, you can really make it even. So one second, where is my knot? It's here. So this is the back element, yeah. My knot is, one second, need to understand where is the right and left here. My knot is here. This is the back element. I push it to the back element. You see my seam, I push it to the back element. I have here like a small sandwich. And all I'll do, I'll grab all the layers of the free elastic I have here, free level 1 to 3. And after, I put my needle into this small loop here. And I block it. Okay? And I keep doing this until the end of this elastic which is inside. And I put my put the needle into the loop. And again, last one here, because it's just really few stitches, 3 maximum, I could fit inside, and I put the needle into the loop. When I finish to sew here on top, I need to sew here on the side as well, up to the end of the, you see, end of the red elastic. The principle of sewing is exactly the same. 1 second, let me to come closer so it calibrates. God, when you record for the tutorial, it's actually more cleaner. Here it just doesn't want to focus. So again, you see, I need to grab a little bit of this elastic here, and the side seam, exactly this way, elastic, the side seam. Guys, yeah, this way. And then I put my needle into the loop and I squeeze it. Again, maximum 3 stitches I can make. Oh, it's so hot when you stand in this position. I'm just gonna do it quickly. And one more. And I put my needle into the loop. Then I need to just block a thread. It's also very easy. You just push it, push the needle inside of the fabric and you just 1, 2 turns around the needle and you block it. And usually I do 2-3 times more like this to make sure, because definitely you don't want, when you wash your underwear or any clothes per se, because I do it with any clothes, you don't want all these seams start to open. And I cut my threads, and you see how clean. Coming more closer. Yep, see, completely on the same level. All you will need to do, and you see here, for example, just a little bit small stir for me. I just miss it. Hold this camera this way. I'm going to make a knot and show on this side, because it's perfect. Actually, it's perfect that it happened here. Even, you see, me, I'm sewing underwear for almost, I don't know, 7 years, and still it happens to me. See this difference? One elastic, this one is more lower, this one is more higher. All I'll do, I will align them together. What? Sorry. I'll align them together, and I need to punch from this side because this is my back element. And I will block the thread. Pity, we should take a picture before and after to see the difference. And I'll block the thread twice. This way, I already made my elastic on the same level. Then I push the side seam toward the back element, and I'll just do exactly the same what I did on the other side. I'll just grab all the layers of my elastic and put my needle into the loop. Yeah, because it's mirrored, sometimes it's difficult to catch up. And this is my loop. Then I'm going to sew here as well. I'm just grabbing the elastic and the side seam and into the loop. Side seam and my loop. Coming to the end of the elastic and going to block the thread. I was thinking it's difficult on the tutorial to be in the frame. My God, here it's even more challenging. At least on the tutorial you can record again and again. Okay, twice. You see, now the elastic completely on the same level. No more stairs anymore. This way you really can fix all your mistakes. But obviously this is by hands. You can't do it with the sewing machine. One second, we are calibrating the perfect shot. Are we done? Oh, this was a big snow from my dog. This was a standard Bikini Bella. Second, yeah, this way. Standard Bikini Bella. Front, back element, 3 elements of the pattern. Very comfortable, beautiful. You can use different fabric. You can use lace. Basically, there is no limit. Whatever fabric you want, you can use. Also, I want to give a few announcements. First one, I want to send to everyone who was at this, I don't know, class. Yeah, you say it class, I believe. Until the end, I want to give you guys a free pattern. If you can go to my website, businkamania.com, and send me a message there, like I was attended to the class. You have 30 minutes, because I'll send these patterns within 30 minutes. So basically, go to my site, send me a message like I was on your masterclass online, and I'm going to send you a code which you can use absolutely for free and download any pattern you want for your project. This is my gift for you. Second, what else I wanted to say to you? Yeah, Actually, I have an amazing news. Many times you were sending to me message like, oh, I want one-to-one session, face-to-face, like you and me, so I can coach you on the underwear sewing. And on our website now, if you go, you can find booking options. Basically, you can book me with the pattern. So you go, you pick the pattern you like, and it's gonna be option there to book me, uh, and we're going to have a face-to-face session with you. I'm going to explain you from A to Z how to sew all the pattern. I'm gonna hold you all the way until the end, because I know sometimes if you're afraid, if you never sew underwear and you're afraid, and it's nice to have someone if something doesn't work, because one thing is to watch like someone is sewing, and second, when you do yourself. I remember when I started, it's so many questions, oh, how this, how that. So if you need really the help from the beginning till the end, you can book me with the pattern. It's gonna be only you and me, no one else. A session, for example, for the people who already has the pattern. Probably for people who already have the pattern, you probably will ask, well, I don't need the pattern, I already have the pattern, I just would like a session for this pattern with you. Again, you can go to the pattern you like, and you already have, and you can book me without the pattern, because obviously you already have one. And for those of you who doesn't have a pattern like at all, for those of you who doesn't need me, you still can go and have the pattern on its own without me. Sorry, it was more than 2 hours of tutorial, my tongue a little bit going all over the place. And what else I wanted to say? Yeah, this session, if for the pattern, for the booking, is going to be for 1 hour and 30 minutes. And before doing this session, we're going to have a Zoom call together, absolutely for free. So before the booking, when you book me, and before going to classes to explain how to sew, we're going to have with you a Zoom session absolutely for free. As I said before, in this Zoom call, we're going to assess your sewing skills. I'll explain everything what you will need, so you don't waste your time on the when we're going to sew the pattern. I'll say what you need to prepare, what should be ready, how we're going to do this. If you don't know me, for example, if someone will watch this video because I'm going to save this, and you found out and you just want to make sure that, sometimes you need to have a connection with the person who's in front of you. And if you just want to have a Zoom call, just don't hesitate, you can reach out, and I'll answer all the questions, I'll guide you through. What else I wanted to say? By the way, yeah, also one thing. Oh, my little dog is coming to me. Queenie. One second, I'm going to show you my doggy dog because she's here coming. No, she doesn't want. She was just about to. Hey, are you coming? Okay, come. Oh, Timana's girl. Yes, she was locked all this time. She wanted to come, but she's my girl, my girl. So basically, what I wanted to say, I'll explain everything on this Zoom call, how to prep the pattern and how to do the things. Just if you're really afraid to do it on your own, don't be afraid. I'm always here to help. And if you go on the website now, already most of the pattern has this booking option. Basically, you just pick the pattern you like, you go, and it's free option there. You can have a pattern on its own, and you can follow our YouTube tutorials. Then you can pick the pattern, for example, with me. Booking, it's 1 hour 30 minutes booking. Just make sure to pick the time you want, because it's very important you select the time. And if you already have the pattern, you just can have me without the pattern itself, because obviously you have one. Guys, if you have any question, maybe you want something to ask now, just type and I'm going to reply to you. If no one has any question, I hope to see you soon, maybe to one-to-one session. Are we waiting for a message? No? Okay, guys, bye. It was so pleasure to be with you sewing. Bye.